Hey, Paul from Akewatu here, and today we're going to be talking about fins, how to choose your fins, what are the different types of fins do. Now there's a bunch out there. You walk into a surf shop, you see the fin wall, can be a bit intimidating, so many to choose from. We're going to help you just understand exactly what they do and how to choose the exact right fin for your board and for your surfing. Don't forget to subscribe to the Akewatu channel down here, get all these videos as they drop. Not so very long ago, fins came glassed into your board. So if you wanted to change fins, you'd have to change your board, or you'd have to get an angry local to punch your fins out for you. Nobody wants that. Today, of course, you can just swap and change your fins, try different stuff out, see what kind of template, what construction works best for you. Before you do that, you want to make sure you're choosing the right fins for your own surfing and your surfboard. Let's have a look. All right, before we get into the specifics of you want to have a look at your board. Essentially, you need a fin system that corresponds to the plugs that you have in the bottom of your board. Essentially, there's three sort of main types for fins, certainly in shortboards, which are one tab, also known as the Futures system. Futures is the brand name. It's a great fin brand, but generically just known as one tab. And there's one tab that fits into the box. And then in two tab, well, that's FCS. And there's FCS1, which are these two tabs here. And we do also have FCS2, which is kind of the standard on the newer boards, which have the FCS system. And these just kind of slot in, no need for a fin key whatsoever. We're going to get onto that in a sec. But those are your basic choice of the three types of box, one or two tab. And you need to make sure that the fins that you buy are going to fit into your surfboard. Okay, when it comes to choosing the right fins for you, you've got to think about how much of you there is, how much you weigh, how big you are. Much like a surfboard, you need to choose a surfboard that corresponds to your weight. Pretty similar with fins. Obviously, someone who's bigger, who's a little bit more powerful, it's going to need a slightly bigger fin. So that little bit more resistance in the water, that little bit more grip. Likewise, at the other end, someone is lighter, a little bit less fin to stay maneuverable. Now, when you're choosing fins, it'll be marked on what your weight is, small, medium and large, etc. Just starting with large, that's sort of 80 kilos plus, going down to a medium, 60 to 80 kilo. And I'll just kind of show you that this is an FCS Mick Fanning fin, one of the most kind of popular high performance fins, even amongst other pros. You see a lot of people surfing this. If you can just see the difference there. I've got two different colors just to kind of show, but this is between a large and a medium. So just even scaling down one size in the fin, you can just see quite a bit more fin on this green one behind. That's the large fin. Just giving you an idea just how much difference there is. So the size of the fin, really important. You need to get that corresponding. Obviously, certain surfers, certain skill levels, you can get away with a little bit of wiggle room if you're roundabout on the boundary. But if you just follow as they're marked on the fins themselves, whatever your weight is, you're going to be on the right track. Now, in terms of your setup of the actual fins themselves, there's four main types of fin setups you can have. There's a thruster, that's three fins. That's probably the most common, the go-to. You can have a quad setup, four fins, a twin, two, and obviously a single fin, that's one fin. That's a whole different topic unto itself. We're going to do another video on that, how to choose exactly which fin setup you want. Of course, some boards will have 5 plugs on the bottom. That'll give you the option to go between thruster and quad. But for the purpose of this video, we're just going to stick to the actual fins themselves and choosing between them rather than the setups. But do stay tuned for that video. One of the cool things about changing your fin is you're really going to notice exactly what the different shapes of fin do and how that changes your surfing as you go from one board to the next. Obviously, there's a bunch of variables, the outlines, the thickness, the length, the curve, etc. It's very hard to isolate what any one particular thing is doing. Obviously, if you've got one surfboard and you swap out a set of fins for another, you're really going to feel that difference immediately. How much do fins matter exactly to your surfing? They actually matter quite a lot. When you're up and trimming on your surfboard, your fin area, so you sort of the amount of fin you got in the water, that's about 50% of the total wet area of your surfboard when you're up and pumping up and driving. So that's quite a lot, makes a huge difference. Okay, let's get into the fin design itself. This is what a surfboard fin looks like, hello. And this particular one here, if you can just see from that outline, this is a relatively upright fin. So this is part of the Reactor series from FCS, and this is a pretty upright fin. You just look at this leading edge. This is the leading edge. If that's relatively vertical, the fin's quite upright. This sort of fin is good for pivoting pretty tight in tight pockets on the wave. For example, if you're surfing a powerful beach break, or there's not a whole lot of room to maneuver, you're surfing in a shore break, something like that, you need to be doing real quite tight radius turns. By contrast, a fin which is more swept back, or the terminology is has more rake. So the rake is how far back this goes. So think of this leading edge on an upright fin. This is more vertical. The more swept back we go, that offers a different type of performance. This is for holding in a turn for longer. So maybe if you're surfing a point break, if you're surfing a wave with a lot of open face, you want to kind of hold on to your turn over a big radius. A fin that's more swept back, that does have more rake, is going to help you do that, versus a fin that's more upright, that's going to help you pivot on the spot. Now, guess what? The sweet spot is probably somewhere between the two. All right, next thing to consider in terms of your fin is what they're made from. And obviously the construction is going to affect how stiff that fin is, and how stiff it is going to affect how much it flexes in the water, and then how much drive that gives you into your surfing. So let's think, you know, a surf school foam board with a rubbery fin. You can ping it with your finger. Not a lot of resistance there. It's not going to offer you much. At the opposite end, think of something like carbon, ultra stiff. It's going to give you a load of resistance. In terms of what most of the pros ride, in terms of the kind of elite performance end, we're talking basically fiberglass fins with a foam core, a bit like a surfboard in many regards. So pretty similar flex patterns to kind of what you're used to anyway with your board, but a foam core in the middle, that keeps things light. And all of the leading brands of fins offer something in this area that's got that foam core to give you the lightness. We also get fins that have a combination, so you might have, you know, a stiffer area towards the tip or on the base, and a little bit more flex in the middle. There's loads to go into in terms of that topic. We don't really want to put you off with an overload of information at this stage, but essentially you get these different types of construction, and they're going to offer you completely different flex patterns. In terms of the flex, if you're a powerful surfer, you're a heavier surfer, you'd probably get away with something a bit more stiff. If you're a bit lighter on your feet, you maybe want a little bit of flex. All about getting that right balance somewhere in the middle of those two extremes. All right, on the subject of the flex on your fins, we've got something unique to Futures fins. So if that's the system you got on your board, it's worth knowing about this, called the ride number. And they've essentially assigned a number between 10 and 1 to describe how flexible the fin is. So 10 is pretty flexible. That's going to help you generate speed. So maybe that's for lighter surfers and for smaller waves. Other end of the spectrum, a ride number of 1, that's a really, really stiff fin. That's when you just want to control speed. So if you're surfing barrels, powerful waves, stuff like that, you're down to those low numbers. Most people are riding something in the middle, in that mid-range. If you look, you'll find it on your packet there. You'll see the ride number for all Future systems. Just help you choose the fin with the right flex pattern for you. All right, in summary, making up 50% of the wet area of your surfboard, fins are important. Make sure you get the right set for you. There are loads out there. Think about your size and weight, first of all. Get the right size for you, and then get into that construction and the corresponding flex pattern. Get the right fin for your board. Do stay tuned for more videos. We're going to be explaining when to change up between your thruster and turn it into a quad, under what conditions you want to do that, and what the board's going to feel like. We're going to be talking about twin fins. They're big at the moment. There's a lot of options in terms of the type of fins you have in your twin, single fins as well. It's a big topic. Stay tuned for more videos. To make sure you get our videos from Akewatu as soon as they come out, do click the subscribe button down there. We'll see you next time.